Bheema, the strongest Pandava, had the strength of 10,000 elephants. Now, he didn't have that strength from birth. It was an event, an incident that made him this strong. It's fascinating how something very adverse happened to him and he became much, much stronger. Bheema is the second son of Pandu. And he's revered in Indian mythology, in Hinduism, he's revered for his immense strength and amazing resilience. The strength of 10,000 elephants that he had in him allowed him to do miraculous feats, including halting the flow of the Narmada river by himself. We start with the childhood of the Pandavas. Unlike the Kauravas, who grew up in Hastinapur, the Pandavas were born in the jungle. This is because Pandu, their father, had renounced the throne and retreated into the forest because of a curse. Kunti and Madri, the wives of Pandu, bore their children in this secluded forest environment. Kunti invoked divine blessings to give birth to Yudhishthira, Arjuna and Bheema, while Madri gave birth to the twins Nakula and Sahadeva. When the Pandavas were still young, tragedy struck and Pandu, unable to abide by the curse, died. Left as a widow with 5 young sons, Kunti decided to take refuge in Hastinapur, which was ruled by Pandu's elder brother Dhritarashtra. The sages of the forest decided to accompany Kunti because they recognized the importance of the upbringing of these children in the royal household. On their arrival in Hastinapur, Bhishma took responsibility for their upbringing, being the patriarch of the Kuru dynasty. The Pandavas were integrated into the royal household along with the 100 Kauravas who were the sons of Dhritarashtra. And all of these royal princes were trained by Dronacharya in different arts, from archery to warfare to wrestling and many other skills. Even as a child, Bheema stood out in terms of his abilities. He was outstanding in wrestling, running and other activities and completely outshone the Kauravas. His immense strength and his competitive spirit became the reason why Duryodhana, the eldest Kaurava, started becoming jealous of Bheema. Though Bheema would take these competitions as something that was fun, but Duryodhana started to become very serious about them and started having serious resentment against Bheema. As Duryodhana's jealousy and resentment started to grow, he unleashed a plan where he decided to call everybody for an event on the banks of the river Ganga. Under the pretext of camaraderie, he organized a grand camp which he called Udakridan. It was a very carefully chosen location and had lavish food, drinks and staying arrangements for all the princes. Obviously, Duryodhana also invited the Pandavas for this event, and they had no idea about his malicious intentions. So all the Pandavas, including Bheema, joined them in this event. Throughout the event, Duryodhana was looking for an opportunity and finally found one and laced Bheema's food with a potent poison. Very soon after consuming that food, Bheema started to feel drowsy and then fell unconscious. Immediately, Duryodhana, with the help of his brother Dushasana, picked up Bheema's unconscious form and threw him into the river. They were pretty sure that he would drown as he was unconscious. But what happened was that the currents of the Ganga river carried Bheema's body down and out into the mystical realm of the serpents, Nagalok. When Bheema reached Nagalok and all the serpents saw this intruder, they were curious about it and they started to bite Bheema. But instead of harming Bheema, the poison from the snakes of Nagalok counteracted Bheema's poison that was already there in his body and revived him, and he woke up. As soon as he woke up and he saw that he was in danger and there were these snakes all around him, he started to attack them. That was his natural reaction for self-preservation. And he, with all his strength and his prowess and abilities, started to attack the snakes with terrifying strength. In fact, so much that the snakes got terrified of the strength of Bheema and they ran to their king, Vasuki. Upon learning what had happened, Vasuki went to see Bheema, and with Vasuki was Aryaka, an elder serpent. And Aryaka was Bhima's great 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 grandfather on the mother's side. On recognizing Bhima, Aryaka was delighted and embraced Bhima and introduced him to Vasuki. When Vasuki realized who Bhima was, Vasuki was very impressed and he was very happy with the way Bhima had behaved, his courage and his strength. So Vasuki said that he wanted to reward Bhima. Then Aryaka suggested to Vasuki that instead of giving Bhima wealth and gems and jewels, why not let him drink from the Rasakunda, the nectar vessels. These Rasakunda had the strength of thousands of elephants in them. So Vasuki told Bhima that you can drink from these Rasakundas as much as you can, whatever your capacity is. And Bhima went straight to these nectar vessels, picked up one and drank it in one go. And like that, he had 8 of them till he was full. When the nectar coursed through his body, he could feel his strength increasing immensely. But as it started to work on his system, he felt drowsy and he fell asleep. And his body started to take in and consume the nectar and change as he slept. There was a divine bed that the snakes of Nagaloka had created for Bhima, and he slept over there in deep slumber for 8 days as the elixir had its effect on Bhima's body and he started to get more and more strength in his body. Once Bhima woke up from his slumber, the snakes of Nagaloka decided that he was there for a temporary time, so they took him to the banks of the Ganga and left him there. Meanwhile, the Pandavas and the Kauravas had returned to Hastinapur from the camp. Yudhishthir got a little worried as to why Bhima was not there. They had assumed that Bhima had gone ahead before them. But when they found that he was not there, he got very worried and he told his mother Kunti. Kunti became worried and sought the counsel of Vidura, who was a very respected and senior member of the Kuru court. Vidura immediately organized a search party for Bhima, which went out to look for Bhima. After 8 days, Bhima emerged absolutely unharmed and fine from the banks of the Ganga river. His return made his family and an entire household very happy. When Bhima returned, he told his mother Kunti and his brothers just what had happened to him. He told them how Duryodhana had poisoned him, how he reached Nagaloka, and how he drank this elixir that gave him immense strength. Yudhishthira, always very careful and always following the path of dharma, instructed Bhima not to tell anyone about what had happened, so that peace could be maintained within the family. And that is how Bhima gained the strength of 10,000 elephants. This is such an interesting story, and what you can gain for your own life is that even in adversity, even in facing a problem, when a problem comes to you, there is an opportunity for you to become stronger, for you to take the adversity, go through it, learn from it, and emerge much stronger than you were before. And there's another lesson here that I also need to learn, which is that you need to build and nurture relationships which will help you in times of trouble. Vasuki and Aryaka's support was essential for Bhima to gain his strength and to come out unscathed from this adverse event in his life. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed this amazing retelling of what had happened to Bhima, how he became so powerful. Do like, share and subscribe. That makes a big difference. It helps me, it helps the channel, and I'll bring you many more stories and retellings of mythology from all across the world. See you next time.